Hey guys, it's Darlene and welcome to my channel. Alright, so today's video is the 4-year mark of my being cancer free. So this was the day 4 years ago that I had my surgery to remove hopefully all of the cancer in my body as of right now, yes. So let's do a follow-up. Let's talk a little and we'll talk about all of it as before. Now, for those of you that are new here, I was diagnosed in 2019 with breast cancer. It was what they thought was a stage 1, but it was a stage 2 once they did the biopsy after I had had a mastectomy. I have a playlist designed specifically for my breast cancer journey. So it talks about everything from the mastectomy to the mental to the physical to, I mean, you name it, to prosthesis. It's all there. I will list the playlist in the description box so that if you so choose, you can go and look at those particular videos. So just a tiny bit of background because there's no reason to go all the way back. I have always done a mammogram every single year. I'm a very preventative imaging kind of girl, proactive in all things that are preventative. So whether it be my skin, whether it be my breasts, whether it be the gynecological, it's a yearly thing and we get it all done and we get it all checked. And the year that I went in for my mammogram, I thought it was just like any other, thought it was going to be just like any other year. And yet it turned out that it was not. And again, that full story is in my very, very first video of when I found out. The day that I found out, I picked up the camera. And there was a reason that I did that. And I picked up the camera and been documenting pretty much ever since. So it actually surprised me. I usually know that it's, you know, I always know that it's in July, and the day snuck up on me, but my eldest daughter never ever forgets. So she was the first person to call me and wish me a happy anniversary, and she sent that beautiful pink plant over there. I'll put a little picture here. And I was like, wow, it's such a 20, like the days of just because we got back from vacation, we're going on another vacation, then my middle daughter is coming for vacation. We've got a lot going on with Matthew, and so it's just been kind of a whirlwind. For those of you that do not know, I moved to Connecticut a year and a half ago, so I did have to find a whole new team, meaning an oncologist, an oncology surgeon, and then I had thyroid cancer in 2011, so I had to find an endocrinologist and then a primary care internist. I have all women group and I love them dearly, and so I'm very happy about that. But that was very stressful and it took quite some time to find the right team. And that's what I will say to you is always find the team that is listening to you, that cares about you, and that wants to follow your wishes. So I will go back again for a second. When I found out that I had breast cancer, both oncologists, I met with two, said, you know, you could just do a lumpectomy and radiation and we think you will be fine. But something inside me said, you know what, I'm going to opt for a mastectomy. And I was glad that I did that because in the end, when they did the biopsy after they took the breast out, they found 3 or 4 other little micro cancerous areas that did not show up on the mammogram. So my surgeon to this day always says, you knew something that we didn't know. And I said, no, God told me what to do. And I was at peace with it. And for those of you that have followed this particular journey, it was a very, very difficult time. I had 3 surgeries in 7 weeks, and it was not fun. And I, in the end, never got a breast. For those of you that are new here, I do not. This side is a prosthesis. There's no boob there. And I am okay with that. Every year that I go in to see my previous surgeon, she would be like, "Are you sure?" And I'm like, "Wow, I mean, I don't know how many times I could say this. I have never been more sure of anything in my entire life." As I've always said on my channel, nothing makes a woman. A breast doesn't make a woman. You know, a uterus doesn't make a woman. That's not what makes us women, and certainly a breast does not. So I am still, that same path is not going to change. I don't foresee it ever changing. I am perfectly fine with the prosthesis. Now I will say, because I always like to keep you informed, I've done a video on sort of what I call out-of-the-box prosthesis versus custom prosthesis that are very, very expensive, that they do 3D imaging. Well, they have one now that they've come out with that's sort of an in-between. So what it is it, in my case, because she didn't believe me that I wasn't going, once they took out the third spacer thing and I said that's it, apparently she didn't believe me and she left skin, which, so I'm not perfectly flat, which I wish I was perfectly flat. That would be very good, or it would be better anyways. So what this prosthesis does, and I'll put a video here, is it has a little pump and you just fill it, and it sort of, the back of it conforms to your skin. Okay, so the front, it looks like a normal prosthesis in the shape of what we would call almost like a triangle. So there is a little bit more fullness down at the lower part versus upper part. But what makes it special is the back. This is where it can conform to your body. So this is all can be filled. And there's a little tiny tab right here. It comes with a little ball. And then you just fill it. So you could see that I have it filled just slightly. That's all I need. And then it goes against your skin and it becomes more of a custom design. Now this one is what I call an out of the box. I took the cover off of it. There's like a little cover that you can wash. I've had this a while, so it does, but it fits easier into a bra versus this one sits against the skin, if that makes sense. But I wanted to show you kind of the size difference of them. And then this, it just sneaks in this little hole here. Most bras have it. This is a bra designed for a mastectomy, but most bras, well, a lot of bras have this little slit, if you will, especially if you're like looking for a push-up bra. This is not. This is one of the very few underwire bras that actually, I think it's Amina that makes it. Most of the bras, I was trying to see if they have a tag here. Most of the bras that I get are from Amina, but this is one of the pretty ones. So this is the prosthesis side, and then this is the side that I'll put my boob in. So that's very nice. And it's, you know, price-wise in the middle of, well, I don't know. My insurance pays for it. So, you know, it was no different between just an out-of-the-box or a regular one. So that was very good. And for those of you that don't know, your insurance, most insurances, I guess I shouldn't say all, any insurance that I have had, you also are allowed to get free bras. So don't go be buying your bras. You pay a copay, you pay a very small percentage. You're allowed to get them every 3 months, or at least with my insurance, I go every 3 months. Not that I don't go every 3 months, because who needs that many bras? Out of the box one, and I'll just show a picture here. I really like this because I can use it in my swimsuit like I did yesterday, and I could throw it in the dryer under very, very low heat, and boop, just perfect, you know, and then pop it in, and that's what I'm wearing today. I'm actually not wearing the custom one. I'm wearing the other one just because it's lighter, and this shirt does go down a little bit farther, so this happens to just fit a little bit better. So just fine. There's lots of different prostheses. There's teardrops. There's ones that are more of a triangle. So there's ones that have more weight down here versus up here, and vice versa. So you just have to find the one that you feel comfortable, and don't let anyone rush you. You know, unfortunately, it took 6 months to get an appointment here in Connecticut, where in Texas I could get an appointment in a week to do the new prosthesis and the and bras and stuff like that. But here they're very limited. Small state. There's only 2 places in the entire state. So that's the prosthesis and the surgery of the fact that I will never have it. And physically, well, let's do mentally. Mentally is a little bit better for me. Mental is fine. I don't have an issue of having breast cancer. What I have found is that I am more open with people about that. Like, you know, maybe when we're going someplace and we're celebrating that an anniversary, or it's coming up, or Breast Cancer Awareness Month, you know, I talk to women, a lot of women, about that. And I find more and more women. I ran into a wonderful woman when we were on our last vacation, and y'all remember the little bracelets from Little Words Project? I have to order more. I usually carry one with me, and when I run into a survivor, I always give that bracelet away. So I gave that one to a very, very sweet woman. I don't mention names in case, you know, they don't want that. But she was a doll, and I think she was 12 years cancer free, so good for her. I'd like to get there. I'm waiting for my 5 years, because 5 years, you know how they say 5 years is that magic mark. Doesn't mean that you're not going to get cancer, you know, at year 6. I mean, let's get real. But you know, it's a goal that we like to accomplish, and I would like to accomplish that goal. And then I'll want to accomplish 6 years and 7 years and 8 years until, you know, God says it's time to come home. So mental, good. Physical, there's not, like, as far as all of this stuff is concerned, is totally fine. Again, I wish physically, like, there's extra, we'll call it skin, because that's what it is. It's really not fat. It's skin here, which is really annoying, because this is, when they go up, they go, like, you could see, if I move my shirt down, you could see this is a divot. I don't have that on the other side. It's nice and full. I have lots and lots of divots where they just pulled out as much skin as possible. But what they did not do is, it would have been nice for them to have taken care of this area, which their goal was to get me a boob and then work on that, but that never happened. So is that annoying? Yes. Is it stopped me from wearing clothes that I want to wear? No, but I do have to dress differently. I can't wear, you know, low cut. You know, this is about as low as I can go, and I'm okay with that. It really, there's such beautiful clothing out there, and bathing suits and all of that stuff, that it just doesn't stop me. I'm not gonna let cancer win. I've always said that to you guys, because if you change the way you dress dramatically, or feel less of a woman, or are constantly worried, then you know what? Cancer won. Because here's the deal. If you were cancer free, you won. You kicked its ass. And every year that you meet that hurdle, you've kicked its ass. And let me also reiterate this, because I've said it in every video, and I think it is one of the most important things for me to say to you, is don't ever judge your journey by anybody else's. It's your journey. This always makes me tear up a wee bit, because so many women look at another woman and go, oh my God, she just bounced back and was at work 2 weeks later and da-da-da. I'll never forget that they had posters. I mentioned this in a video a very, very long time ago. They had posters in the waiting room. This is after my second surgery, right? Of the poster children for cancer. When I say children, I mean adults. And this person went right back to work, and this guy did this, and da-da-da. And it's like, you know what? That is not reality, okay? That is when nothing goes wrong, okay? Nothing goes wrong. Well, guess what? If you decide to have it's not a decision. If you have to have a mastectomy, a 1 in 3 chance of you having a complication is what the odds are. Where's the person that says that to us? I'm sorry, I didn't read that in the literature, and it certainly wasn't told to me, and I get a little frustrated about that. I'd like doctors to be, and this is me, this is just me, right? Not everybody wants to know everything. I do, because I always feel like we are at our strongest prior to that first knife cut. We are at our strongest before radiation, before chemotherapy. That's when we're at our strongest. So I want to know, hey, I've got skin dying necrosis. That's something, like, I'm freaking out because I don't know that that's something that could happen. Where was that? I'm sure somewhere in the 50,000 pages I signed necrosis was in there, as are some of the others. But the fact is that 1 in 3 will have some kind of complication. I unfortunately basically had every complication, and that's okay in the end. But as I was going through it, by the third surgery, and then I got Pseudomonas, which is a very severe hospital infection. So then I ended up with a infectious disease doctor to add to my collection of doctors. And so you want to be in and out of the hospital as fast as possible. Make no mistake about it. You want to be in and out, because that is another thing. The longer you're in there, or the more times you have to go in there, the more a complication like an infection can happen. And if you believe something is wrong, make sure that you use your voice, because you know your body best. So if your plastic surgeon's not listening to you, or your oncologist isn't listening to you, or the ER doctor isn't listening to you, then you will go above them. You go to a different doctor. I cannot stress this enough, because after my second surgery, I knew something was wrong within a week, because you have drains and it was green. I'm not a rocket scientist to know that green is bad. And when I went in, I had the biggest jackass male doctor basically tell me nothing was wrong, and that I probably just needed to up my anti-anxiety medication. And thank God, the very next day, I had seen my plastic surgeon, and she was like, you have Pseudomonas. It's quite obvious. The infection, it has a very specific odor to it. Anyways, we went literally from there. She goes, go straight to the emergency room. I am calling. And then boom, another surgery and a 10-day hospital stay was what that took. And it could have been a lot better had we caught it maybe 24 hours sooner, had a doctor listened, but he didn't. So I would say that. I get very frustrated with that, because a lot of doctors, especially, and this might sound sexist, but especially male physicians, they tend not to listen to us. And women know their bodies so well. We just do. So I'll get off my soapbox there. Otherwise, pretty much everything else is fine. I also had thyroid cancer, hence the scar here, in 2011. So that's going on a long time of being cancer-free on that one. But that one takes a lot out of me, because I have to take a supplement, and then my parathyroid glands were damaged, so I can't regulate calcium, so I have to take that, and then calcium pulls magnesium, so I have to take magnesium, and it's a vicious cycle of medications, but that's okay. I'm here today, and that's all that really matters. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. So really, it's just I'm trying to live my best life possible. There are great days that I have where I have a lot of energy. And I always say that, unfortunately, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, these things, even YouTube, it is a snapshot into my life, into anyone's life. It's a teeny tiny little part of the whole existence. I may feel good enough to film 4 videos. That day will wipe me out for a good 4 days, doing something like that. And that's just the way it is. And I've learned to live with it. I take the good days and I run with them, and I don't beat myself up about the bad days. If I can't do something, I'm not going to force myself to do it. I'm going to allow my body to rest, and I'm going to listen to my body. So that's where we are, guys. 4 years cancer-free as of this moment. And then as far as my doctors, we are now, I have to think for a second, I see my endocrinologist twice a year. My oncology surgeon now once a year. Just had my mammogram 6 weeks ago, and it was clean. We did a mammogram and an ultrasound, so just being doubly protective, I'm all for that. All the blood work has come back beautiful, so I praise the Lord. You know, I'm healthy and cancer-free as of this moment. And yes, I will continue to say as of this moment, because we really don't know what's going on with our bodies. So the last thing I will say to you, possibly the last thing, is please get your mammograms. Don't put them off. Get them. It saved my life. Had I not done it, I already was stage 2 by the time, you know, I had my surgery and they did the biopsy and ended up being stage 2. So please get your mammograms. I mean, they can and they do save lives. The other thing I'll say is support those companies that give back. During Breast Cancer Awareness Month, you know that I highlight brands that give back to breast cancer awareness, because 1 in 8 women getting breast cancer is a ridiculous number and it shouldn't exist. And I'll leave it there because I don't want to get on another soapbox for you guys, because I can. And then for those of you that are going through this fight, I will be praying for you, and I know the battle you're going through. And again, each one is different. Each person is different. So if you do go back and you look at my videos, do not judge by how I feel. If you can take a little inspiration from it, I'm happy to give it. If it brings you some information, I'm glad to give it. My email is always in the description box. You are welcome to email me and ask me any question that you so choose that you may have. You don't have to leave it in the comments. If you do, I will do my very best to answer it to the best of my ability anyways. It's a club you don't want to join, for sure. But when you're in it, it's sort of a ride or die thing. You're in it, and you're in it for life, and there are people that are there to support you, and that is the most important thing. Maybe they're not in your household. Maybe they don't understand. But we here in this other community, we do understand, and so reach out, because that's the most important thing. When you're going through a battle like this, you can be angry, you can be sad, you can be pissed off, you can use the F word every day, all day long, if it makes you feel better. I say, you know, my channel is very PG-13, and then I don't swear in my videos except for the cancer videos, because fuck cancer. That's what I will say. Fuck cancer. And you can say it, and you can feel it, and you can feel however you want. Some people choose not to celebrate their anniversaries, and they just want to forget about it. I get it. I totally get that. For me, it's important that I celebrate it, you know, in whatever way it's chosen. Now, I'll be perfectly honest, my oldest understands, and it's a very important day for her, as it is obviously for me, and she never forgets it, and she'll always do something special. But I, like my husband, would never remember that it was today. If it wasn't for my daughter texting him to remind him. That is the 4-year update. I'm glad to report that there's nothing exciting. Like I tell my doctors when I go in, I want to be the most boring patient that you've ever had, because that means that I'm as healthy as I can be. And I run with that every day, not literally, figuratively. All right, you guys. Well, thank you so much for listening. And I hope you have a wonderful day. As always, I will see you very soon. And God willing, I will see you for the 5-year. I'll talk to you soon. Bye, guys.